ready for a very special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. Up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed.
Climbing back in bed. It's a Thursday morning. It is ready for Coffee Club. My co-host this morning is Corey Churchman from Marshall Monuments. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning.
And I know you're no person to get back to sleep. You're a shaker and a mover.
We are ready to roll.
That's right. Let's do this, right?
Let's go.
And we do have from our, and I want to call emergency management. Am I saying that right?
That's correct.
And it's Deni.
Stempowski.
Yes, I love that. And I'm just going to say Deni, yes.
That's right.
You're like Elvis, just Deni. Okay?
Deni, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to mess that up. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful last name. I just I have a hard time with it. But it's always great to have you in here. Thanks for coming in this morning. Mm-hmm. And Corey, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
Sure thing. We have Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's, Fox Perley Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associate, Dr. Mindy Gunn, McAllister's Land Consulting, and yours truly, Marshall Monuments.
Yay! And Corey, this is your first time actually co-hosting. You've been actually in the hot seat, but this is your first co-hosting gig.
I'm thrilled. I'm just smiling ear to ear.
Well, we know, and we know, there's a certain gift that you have.
Oh.
You know, the gift that you have, right?
Sure.
And, which I do too. That is, where I come from. That's a superpower, right?
Absolutely it is.
Denny's got that too. We all do. So, all right, we're on to the 14th day of November. Today is the Genesis Book of World Records.
Fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to look at those,
It is.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they get really weird stuff. It's like, why? Who would have thought of that one, right? Ooh, sorry, Corey. International Girls' Day.
There we go.
There we go. Look at that.
We're in.
Sorry, Corey, you're out of that one, but that's all good. Let's see here. Loosen Up, Lighten Up Day. Love that.
I like
right?
that.
That is good.
Yeah. National American Teddy Bear Day. Corey, did you ever have a teddy bear?
No, but my boys love their teddy bears.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Cute.
Yep.
Jenny, did you have a teddy bear?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I had this Winnie the Pooh that I just love. Yeah, it's so cute. National Family PJ Day. What about you, Corey?
Well, Deni?
Deni? On to you, Deni. That was a pass.
I was going to say, I wouldn't mind being in my PJs all day. That would not be a bad thing.
I literally love this.
It's a good day for that.
No,
Good
it
day
is.
to be comfortable.
Chilly and rainy and
Yeah.
Nice.
That is I could, if I could just every day. I'm sorry, but yes, I would. Yeah, and I'd be in the robe, just loving it. I'd probably be.
I do like a robe.
I know,
Yeah.
very productive, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Get a lot done.
Think if you showed up in a robe. I decided to dress for comfort today.
Yeah.
It was PJ Day. National Pickle Day.
Mm.
What about you, Corey? You like pickles?
Oh man, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Any
Very
kind
much.
of? What's your favorite?
I love Clausen pickles.
Oh, those are the best. Are they
One of the
not?
best. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Denny?
I love them. Love
Me-
pickles, yes.
Me too. Well, real quick. Okay, so here's the question of the day for the pickle. Corey, do you drink the juice out of the jar?
If it's in a Bloody Mary.
Okay.
I like pickle juice in a Bloody Mary. It's a good thing
I
to
did
do.
not know that.
That's
I
a
never
secret.
heard.
That's a secret ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
For
What
me.
about you, Denny?
Yeah.
I save the pickle juice for when I have leg cramps.
I have heard that.
And you know, and I thought that was the weirdest thing until one night I was having a problem with leg cramps, and I've got nothing to lose, and I went in and I drank some pickle juice, and it gets rid of it.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Wow.
And so I always save my pickle
So
juice.
the NFL, we need some pickle juice
Yeah.
quickly, pronto over here.
I noticed that they're selling pickle juice at like games.
Oh,
The kids
absolutely.
love it, like frozen pickle
The
juice.
frozen
Absolutely.
pickle juice, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's
I do.
it's a real thing.
Always a dill pickle for me. I don't like sweet pickles.
No,
Yeah, I'd rather
not a
have
fan.
it.
I like dill pickles.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
Well,
garlic pickles.
there it's good to know this, but there are, according to a report, more than 67% of households eat pickles. On an average, they purchase pickles every 53 days.
That sounds right.
Okay, let's see here. Do you think pickle? Okay, let's see. Believe it or not, on the poll, they asked the question. 26% of people said they admitted they have done that. The other 74% said no. One person said, "Who drinks it from the jar? Ooh, pour it in a cup." And I want to say that okay. So let me go back. I was a cheerleader years ago, and for whatever reason, the concession stand was closing down, and they had this big jar of pickle juice. And they said, "Who would like this pickle juice?" You're not gonna throw stuff away, right? We're gonna have some pickle juice. So I had this big jar of pickle juice, and I remember I spilt it on me.
Oh no!
So all the way home, and it was a away game. On the bus ride home, you could just smell pickle juice all over me. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, just that's one big memory of drinking it
Trauma.
from a jar. If you're going to drink it from a jar, be careful. Be a little more talented than I am, right? So anyway, be careful on that. All right. So National Pickle Day, National Seatbelt Day. Corey, do you make sure you have your seatbelts on?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Deni?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we just
My
gotta keep
vehicle doesn't
reminding
move
everybody.
unless everybody's got their
I
seatbelt
love
on.
that the vehicles are doing that. You know what I mean? Where that they remind you for some
Mhm.
reason if you hurry up and, you know, when you're in a hurry. I like that they do that. What about some spicy guacamole, Corey?
Spicy for me is not like, but I do like guacamole.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not into spicy.
Yeah.
I'm not a spicy kind of girl.
Yeah. Operating room nurse. Love those.
Oh,
love
yeah.
those operating
Yes.
operating
Any nurse.
room nurses. Any nurse.
Any
yeah.
nurse.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
nurse.
Yeah. Absolutely. Spirit of National Speakers Association Day. Okay. World Diabetes Day.
Mm-hmm.
World Quality Day. World Usability Day. So there we go. So get out and enjoy for sure. All right, and our temperature has dropped, a little cooler today. So for those heading out, you want to put some layers on, get a little bit,
Absolutely.
get
Yes.
some, which 'tis the season for that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of rainy, so make sure you have, an umbrella or a hood or something to keep you from getting soaked.
Right, and remember, when those leaves fall into the road and the oil comes up from the road, the rain, it makes it very slick.
Very slick.
So be careful out there, right? Just look
And the deer are moving.
oh
Like
man,
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
boy, they're everywhere, aren't they? Yeah.
they are.
They're
so
crazy,
just
too.
stay safe.
Mhm.
Right.
Nobody wants to start or end their day with that.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Good. That's a very good reminder for sure. And we have a lot of those. So let's jump in and find out. And Deni, let me make sure I got your title right. Give me your title again. Is the
Director of Emergency Management for
Right.
Washington County.
yes. And we just had a meeting the other night, and Corey and I were talking that it's amazing how many things go on behind the scene to make sure we have the measures. Like the EMTs, they have, they go over their training.
Right.
The fire department go over their training. The police department go over their training. You have all of the different groups that have all this training, and we don't know that. The community a lot of times do not know that.
Right.
And then, of course, we had a meeting the other night, and it was so informative. I thought it was one of our better meetings, actually. We really learned a lot. But I love the measures that we do take in this community for safety.
Absolutely. All of the training is mandatory for all of the emergency services, dispatchers included. We have to take training to be able to give emergency medical direction until the squad arrives, and just to be able to handle calls. So all the emergency services do have some type of training that they have to do. Emergency management is not so much involved in that. Basically what I do is I collaborate with all of the emergency services. We come up with plans in case the big one happens, and we hope we never have to use them.
Right. Yeah.
That is my job.
So you've been in this role for about a year, but you've done
I have been in this role for a year after Desi Alexander retired. She was the EMA director for many years. I took over for her in January, but I do have a history. I've been an emergency services dispatcher one way or another for the last 40 years. And then I did work with emergency services and emergency management in Ohio, which is where I'm from. I was the 911 coordinator, and I worked closely with the EMA coordinator, and we did plans and things like that to keep the centers running.
Well, let's go back, because were you, I'm going to say country before country was cool, were you part of it before 911 even occurred?
Oh, yeah.
So let's go back to those days. Tell us a little about how that used to
Well, we would get a call on a 7-digit line. We would get the information. We would type it on a wide carriage typewriter on a big piece of paper. We would send the cars out and do things. We didn't have, I was able to run license plates. That was something that started in where I was just shortly before. I started working in the field. It was on, when you ran a license plate, it ran it on thermal paper, and you had to make sure everybody went to court because the typing would wear off on the thermal paper.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
and going
I've
back.
been around a long time.
No, but thank you for that. Your job is so essential and so much appreciated, and there's so much value. Have you, aren't you amazed at how technology has come a long way
Oh,
for
absolutely.
the betterment of our safety and these procedures?
If you would have told me the 40 years ago that someday I'd be, working on a computer, I'd be able to see the officers on a map, I'd be, that was all, that would have been amazing to me.
That is great.
How much it has progressed, and the training is so much more. I mean, when I was trained, I went into Mahoney County Sheriff's Department. I was actually doing an internship, and I did the training. I was training to be a corrections officer. That's what I have my degree in. And the dispatcher was the jailer, which was how it was here at Washington County at one time too. And she trained me on how to talk on the radio and the things. We used to have cards there that it was a punch card, and you would write the call on it, and every time an officer called you, you would hit this thing would go ka-chunk, and it would put a time on it, like the old time cards.
Right.
And that was, and at the end of the day, you had a stack, and that was your log. But the second time I went in for my internship, one of the lieutenants came in and said, "Hey, the dispatcher's not going to be here today. She's not feeling well. It's all yours." And I mean, no training, no other than just sitting and watching her. And I dispatched for the entire day, and I was hooked. I was hooked.
Well, it's funny how that came about, because when you're a dispatcher, you have certain codes. So you had to learn all those codes and figure out that I mean,
Absolutely.
to make sure. I mean, I think that the responsibility of a dispatcher, and in making sure that they get the information from the person on the phone to the, I mean, you're that bridge to the.
We try to keep the people calm, and on the other end of it, we have to make sure we get enough information to keep the officers safe when they're responding, or the EMTs, or if we feel that we're on the phone and something doesn't seem right, we got to make sure we let them know. And you do get that ear. The more you do it, that something's not right with this call, and you let the officers know that something just doesn't seem right.
And so, this wasn't on your you didn't on your radar. You didn't realize that you were going to become a dispatcher.
No idea. I never thought about being a dispatcher. I had never actually spoken to a dispatcher until I went to do that internship, and then after that, I became a dispatcher at our college. And I did, dispatched for the law enforcement at the college. And
well, you probably stayed busy.
And then went on from there to ambulance service, and then law enforcement.
Pretty awesome. Do we have a lot of dispatchers? Is that something in need of dispatchers?
We are short one right now. They have just hired a few new ones. We do have a very young dispatch group, but they are very good.
But that's a good thing. Yeah, hopefully they'll stay there.
Yeah, hopefully they'll stay there and carry the torch. So.
Well, it's really interesting, and it's something that a lot of times we just don't think about, and what a nice career too, right?
It is. It is a very nice career. It's very rewarding. The nice thing about it is we stay warm or cool because we are inside. The bad thing about it is you can go from 0 to 60 instantly. You could be sitting there and not much is happening, and then all of a sudden everything's happening. And you just have to be able to And you don't have time to look at your manual. You have to know what to do to keep everyone safe.
Well, and when you talk about, let's go back, when you said the big one, Corey and I, we locked eyes.
Yeah, if you have a traffic crash at the corner of Jackson and Main, that is a small disaster. It's a disaster for the people who are involved, no doubt. And there's protocols in place for that. I am more tornadoes, large wind damage, flooding, things that would do any type of damage to many people and put a lot of people, hazardous materials, things like that. We have to have a plan in place for all of that. Most recently, the biggest plan we just got done doing was for elections, because they were so concerned about how elections were going to go. So we had to do an election plan just in case you had an active shooter, or you had, Washington County, is there a chance? Of course there's a chance. There's always a chance that something's going to happen. So we have to plan for it so that we know what to do when it happens.
I did know that you guys, I did know that was, and I don't think a lot of people did know it. And a lot of times you do things like that, and it's not something that's necessarily advertised, but you're there whenever, if somebody needs you.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're noticing now that more are called out, like when there's, an accident or something, that you have not only the EMTs, but you also have the fire department or maybe police department, and more, I guess, people are being called out at this point.
Mm-hmm. Right. If you have an accident, obviously the officer's going to go to take the report, to do traffic control, to they let us know how many injuries. I mean, if we know there's injuries, we're already sending everybody. But they update us to know, about the injuries. Traffic control to keep people out of harm's way. The officers do all of that. Obviously, the EMTs get on scene and they decide, if they need to transport, if they need an air ambulance, we'll call in an air ambulance for them. And the fire departments, to make sure that the people are out of the vehicle safely. They do extrication. And they also, anything having to do with the battery or anything like that, or, fluids that are leaking from the vehicle, the fire department takes care of that.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to have all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're that person, or it's one of your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, and I think it's a great thing. I think that's something we didn't used to do. Like more like you was for more like if there was a fire, the fire department, the rec, police department.
Mm-hmm.
EMTs. But I love the all hands on deck. I love everybody coming, and I think and I know even like lifting now, it's nice to have everyone there.
Right.
If there should be lifting that needs to be, or
Correct.
if there's, because they're all trained under some of the same umbrellas.
Yes.
And that works out well.
Yeah, anytime there's a major fire, law enforcement will go and help with deterring traffic and getting the fire trucks through. The fire trucks obviously are there to fight the fire, and EMS does respond in case anybody gets hurt.
Yeah, love that.
Mm-hmm.
Such a blessing you are to our community. I mean, it's so much we take for granted in our everyday lives, knowing that she's working hard behind the scenes daily to keep everything moving and keep everybody safe.
There's a large group of us.
Well, right.
Yes, there's a large group of us that work behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would take a village.
Yes.
But that's so like we just live our lives, and when we
you don't think about us unless you need us.
No, it's true. Yeah,
you don't think about us unless you need us.
Yeah.
Sure, appreciate you though. That's really good. Hey, what brought you to Washington County?
My husband worked for a Ford Motor Company in Avon Lake, and he got transferred down to Louisville, and he was looking around to find an area for us to move to, and he fell in love with Washington County, and we bought a house in Washington County.
Smart.
Wow, our blessing for sure.
That is great.
Yeah. And a nice little drive too. He could kind of deprogram on his way home,
right.
And everything. Right. So nice. It's not bad. We have a lot that drive back and forth.
Right. Yeah. He's retired now. He works at the sheriff's department now, but then when we were first down here, he still
Talk
worked.
about a power team, like the
Yeah,
Avengers. They're like the Avengers. I mean,
that's great.
He's court security.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, that he's like he retired, he did that, and now he's working at the sheriff's department. That is great.
Yeah, I love that. So going back on the, what Corey, the thing that I think, those 2 hours that you and I sleep, just a few hours because we're but it's amazing when you lay your head down on the pillow, all of us, at night, that if you look at their logs, those logs are still being done.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's still things
There's
going
still
on.
calls,
And
there's
I
still-
always want to bring that to everybody's attention, because just because we're not seeing it, it's just like
Right.
a tree in the forest. They do fall, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But things are still being done,
Mhm.
and we just don't see it or know it.
People
you
in
know?
emergency services, I mean, we're 24/7. We don't close. You know, when there's a snow day and they close the courthouse, we don't close. COVID, we didn't close. We were always, you know, we had safety measures, but we still had to be at work. We work holidays, we work our birthdays. You know, we have to work 24/7 to make sure everybody in Washington County is safe.
Yeah, I love that. Every time I see an emergency vehicle, I always, my prayer is, Lord, be with them. And it's funny, I say that, and I say it like under my breath, but now, like all my daughters, I'll hear them, Lord, be with them. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you know, you just don't know what they're going to get into. And
Absolutely.
they don't know. You know?
That's correct.
And I think it's always nice to send a prayer
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
they go down the road, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's always, I think our community, we love each other so much. I feel like we're, you know, don't get me wrong, it's like a family. We do bigger.
There's some fighting.
There's
yeah.
some fighting and
There's some
bickering,
fighting
but we
going
love
on.
each other at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that when we see the helicopter come, that's the scariest. I feel like everybody just really gets very...
Right, that's something
It's
serious.
heart hurting. It hurts your heart because
Mhm.
you know, some family or somebody's going through
True.
something.
Mhm.
I think when you hear that helicopter, but what a huge blessing too that we have that.
Mhm.
But it's also, on the other hand, you know, it's not a good day.
Right.
So, wow. Well, it's amazing though on emergency management. So let's talk about some of the things we got coming up. But you know what, and Corey, just like everything, we're taking huge strides. I mean, this is what I love about this is we're just not sitting here saying, I mean, we've got some new advancements that are coming up. This is very exciting,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about that this morning. So
Mhm.
I hope everybody is still with us, and hopefully got that coffee and use that restroom if you had to in your back. Hurry back here, because we've got some, talk about this Code Red, and we got coming up.
Yes, I am trying to get Code Red into the county. It is a reverse 911 system, mass notification. A lot of people do say that, you know, well, if there's a tornado or something, we have the siren. Well, we only have the siren in Pekin, and we have one in Salem. If we were to have the siren, and a siren that can be heard everywhere, you would need enough sirens. It would cost $8.3 million. They are only for a 4-mile radius, and it's
Wow.
mostly for people who are outside. And most people would hear it and think, tornado.
Yeah.
What Code Red does is it will reach everybody by phone. Everybody's got a cell phone anymore. Everybody. And we can put in a message and tell you what the emergency is. And some of the emergencies, it's not just about severe weather. However, severe weather is something that we do, but it's through the National Weather Service. They will be able to reach without me doing anything. If we have watches or warnings or advisories, they'll be able to reach the phones. It would be automatic for that, but you will be able to, once we get this system purchased, you'll be able to go on to a website, which there'll be a link probably on the sheriff's website if he lets me, and I'm sure he will, on my Facebook, county websites, where you can just click on that and you can choose what you want to be notified of. Some of the things you can be notified of is gas leaks. If there's a gas leak in your area, what you need to do. The tornado siren tells you something's happening, but you don't know what or where. The phone will tell you you've got a tornado coming, or you've got a gas leak in the area. There is a something going on with the sheriff's department or Salem police. They need you to stay away from this area. There's road closure. There's a missing child, and I think this is great. We also have a map. So if there's a missing child, we can put a pinpoint on the house the child is missing from, and then draw a radius. And then reach all those phones and say, look outside, look in your backyard, look in your shed. We're looking for a 4-year-old that is wearing this, this, and this.
That is totally essential.
It is absolutely awful, awesome, and
Yeah.
we can get it out.
Awful.
It
That's
is
why it's
awful.
essential.
Yeah, that's-
no, it's,
Yeah, you're
it's kinda,
right. You're right.
Yeah.
If we have something with hazardous materials, we can text you and let you know something's going on, but there's always 2 different scenarios. You might have to evacuate, or you might have to shelter in place. You don't want to choose the wrong one.
Right.
So we would tell you, you need to shelter in place, you need to close your windows, you need to put towels under your doors. until this has been cleaned up and taken care of. Or you need to get out. And when you get out, I need you to go to and give them a location. This is information that can be automatically in their hand. The other thing is I would have to become IPAWS certified, which is Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, and that is FEMA based. So if we ever have another 9/11, God forbid, that it would notify everybody about it. It would be a national alert. There has never been a national alert because this was developed after 9/11 because they saw the need for being able to have people look for things, see things that are happening, and get the word in. And the same thing, you know, if you have severe weather coming, we need to have people who can see, put their eyes on the storm and tell us what's going on. IPAWS also, if something happens in our county that is severe enough, and there's different criteria, it would automatically put it on the TV screens. So it would tell you Washington County is under this alert, emergency, and it would also notify you for WSLM to put that out over the air.
Well, when we had our meeting the other night, you know, I make sure I have my ES and make sure that, you know, my testing is good.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was a crack or something that missed WSLM, this is why I love we need to keep all soldiers, I mean, we need everything we possibly can do to
Right.
alert, you know what I mean?
Alert people to keep them safe.
Absolutely. And I think that I love the measures of going to that measure, you know what I mean? That we all, you know, whatever it takes, and different people, you know, have different ways of getting information. And I think I think it's fantastic.
And it's not just phones. You can do it, the Code Red system can reach you via email. It can reach you on your home phone if you want to enter your home phone. It can reach you on your cell phone. However you choose to receive the messages. Do you want a phone call and you want to listen to the message? Do you want a text message so you can just read it? You can choose all different ways.
It's almost all the different love languages, you know, right? You know, I mean, whatever it takes to get to you.
To get to you and to keep you safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And your family, yeah.
Right.
Well, I love this. Now, okay, so the sirens we know, and you hear that because the sirens are a good thing, we know, and they do, you know, but, you know.
They're limited to their use.
Right. But this is so, when you kind of gave us the cost, so what would this cost to have this Code Red for our county?
It would be $27,000, and that would be for 5 years. So we would be able to get the system and have it maintained for 5 years. There is no installation cost or installation. There's just a learning curve where we have to train people who are going to use the system, but it's not like you would have to build a place to put the siren, bring that in. It's all done in a matter of a week.
Is this implemented in other communities around us?
Yes. Around us, we have got Davies County, Floyd County, Harrison County, Jennings, and Jasper all use Code Red. IDOC and ISP also use it. Indiana State Police and Department of Corrections. They use it to notify people in the area of prisons in case somebody escapes. So, but there are other systems. I have looked into all the other systems. They are more costly than Code Red, and I have experience with Code Red, so I know it's a good system. You know, just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's better. Right. But I know this is a good system. I have used this system, and I really think this is the choice for Washington County.
And what's really cool, if someone was coming through our community, or like, let's say, stop for lunch or stop to go to Walmart or whatever, and they had this system, it could alert them.
It could alert them too because they're in the area. That is correct.
Wow.
If you're driving through the area.
Our phones so often give us not great information, so this is something that is very essential to be using our phones for all these things that are very
Yeah, and I also already got a grant from Duke Energy to put toward it.
So you're talking $27,000 for 5 years to cover this whole county.
That's the total cost for the 5 years. So
but I mean,
$5,000.
That's very fair.
And you've already received a grant for part of that.
Part of it.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
I love that. Well, I think I hope it passes, and I think it's a great thing. And
yeah, I'm going to be going before County Council in December to see if there's funding for it or what else I can do to get funding for it. There is a fund set up for donations. My plan was to go to several businesses and try to get it, but with me working Okay.
Well, I think it's
With me working part-time, it's very hard for me to get out and do that because I still have to concentrate on EMA, but I still have to do time at the Sheriff's Department. I have things I have to do there.
So will this, let's go back on explaining this, which I think it's fantastic. I love the whole idea. And I think for $27,000, you can't put a number and you can't put an amount on safety.
On the safety of the people of the county.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that's very fair for 5 years. Yeah. Then, and hopefully you could lock that number in, and then the next 5 when you go to renew.
Yeah, probably not, but it sounds really good.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it does sound.
By that point, everybody will realize how much how
valuable it is.
How valuable it is. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, our community is like a family.
Yeah.
You know, love it or hate it, we're all stuck together, and we want to do the best we can for each other. So, I mean, I think I should just challenge us all to, keep us all safe. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I agree.
We should all come together and have something like this to keep us and our children safe.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back. How will this work? Kind of give us a little bit of details on that. Will it be ran through the dispatch sheriff's department, or
it can be?
Okay.
Like I said, the weather part of it will be done totally through National Weather Service. We have nothing to do with that, especially because we're kind of busy when there's bad weather coming in.
So they'll take it from there. They'll just take it.
The National Weather Service does everything for weather.
Okay.
They take care of all the updates, all everything.
They're with me on that. I get that. I just didn't know on this system.
Yes, same thing.
Okay.
They will. It's all done through the National Weather Service. If there is any type of other emergency, yes, the 911 center will have the capability of doing that. But again, if you got a big enough emergency for this, they're busy.
Yeah.
So they will have the capability, but I will be able to do it. Fire chiefs will be able to do it. The sheriff will be able to do it. So there'll be people around the county who will be able to do that. And if I don't have time to sit down and type a message, all I have to do is call them. Listen, it's Washington County. We're up to our ears in an emergency. I need you to put out this alert for this area.
Sure.
And they do it for me.
Well, let's go back. We have had. We've had tornadoes, which have been very devastating.
Correct.
We've had flooding.
That's correct.
That whoever,
Wow.
No one saw that one. I mean, I've never seen anything like that.
Right.
That was just.
That's a flash flood, and then you just don't expect them, and here they are.
No, I mean, so we have had, some disasters. We've had fires, we've had things, and I think this would work out wonderful. And I think a lot of times people, it's hard sometimes because the weather, like, you don't know what it's going to be like, or.
I think we're such a rural community too.
Exactly.
There's no way. I live in Campbellsburg. You're in Pekin. You're in Salem. We cover the whole area. It's a wide range of geography here. So as far as
and a lot of things you get from the local TV is Louisville.
Oh, I know.
So they do talk about Washington County, and they do tell us something's coming, but it's kind of like Washington County too. Where this would be able to be tracked by the National Weather Service, and it would be Washington County. You would know where it's coming from. I have become a weather ambassador. I did that yesterday.
Nice.
So,
look at that. Boy, that's a cool title.
It is. Weather ambassador. I'll be able to.
Jealous of that.
I can go out and do training, which I started doing. Go out and do training on emergency management, and I can also do weather training now too, and get things out there so that the people are educated and things like that. And I have just applied for being a safety first community, and we would get a plaque, and it would actually lower insurance rates if I get accepted.
Well, look at
For
that.
some flooding and things like that. And Code Red, if we would get the Code Red system, that makes us eligible for more grants, to bring more money into the county to do more for disaster preparedness.
I love that. I love that.
She checks all the boxes.
I think
This is
so.
Great. I feel like I need to step it up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm slacking. I know. We got to keep up with her. She just got a title. I know. I'm jealous of that.
We're all
I know.
together.
Yeah, I'm totally jealous of that title. I think that it just like whenever we talk about a watch and a warning, and I have that photo of you have the witch. She's riding her bike, and that's the watch. And then when she goes into the green and hat and flying monkeys, that's the warning.
That's the warning.
Because I think a lot of times people get confused with that. And I think that being able to educate, I love an educated community.
The easiest way to remember is you watch for a warning. Watch comes first.
Watch for a warning. There you go.
Mhm.
Beautiful. I've not heard it. I have not heard it
Yes.
that way. That's beautiful.
You watch for a
That's
warning.
why she's an ambassador.
I know. That's why I'm not, right? Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm coming. I want to be one too. No, I think it's I think it's fantastic. But I'm very proud of you for your dedication and how much you're putting to this and to our community.
Well said.
And I love this for us. And I think too that we get a little confused too on things that some of the words, like we were talking, our governor, let's kind of, I don't want to leave the red necessarily because of code red, but the governor has done some new measures, and you want to kind of explain that?
He has designated this week as Winter Weather Awareness Week. So we're trying to get the word out about how to prepare for winter weather. We don't have severe storms here. I mean, I'm from northeastern Ohio. I'm from the snow belt, so to me it's not severe.
A walk in a park.
The problem you have here is ice, which we didn't have as much up there.
Right.
So you need to be prepared. I do have a Facebook page, which is Washington County, Indiana Emergency Management. Anytime there's any bad weather coming in or anything coming up, I will put that on there. So if everybody could, go to Facebook and find me, you'll be able to see what's coming up in Washington County. I put it on there, and I also put it on my personal page. But I do have something so that I can at least notify the community that way. I do have a lot of people who follow that. And then some of the local fire departments follow me, so when I put it out, they put it out on their websites.
Right.
So again, this takes a team.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of steps that need to be taken, and I couldn't do this without the support of the local law enforcement, the fire departments, and EMS that are behind the scenes telling me this is what we need to do this, and then I try to find a means to do it.
Right. Well, and it was very apropos for the governor to do this, hit this week, because our temperatures have dropped, and they even talked about, and I'm going to tread lightly on this, so don't be upset with the messenger, but maybe some flurries, possibly. So
they're saying by the end of the month we will have flurries.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. We've seen snow, at this time of year. But I think that when you have that too, there's a lot of words that are out there, like we talked about the state of emergency, and people, want
the
to
travel
hear,
advisories.
Yeah, travel.
Those are the things that people
explain some of these definitions for us.
I get together with the commissioners.
I see his furrowed brow over there.
The commissioners, with the sheriff, with the police chief, will all make decisions about the road conditions. And we will make a decision as to whether there should be an advisory. This is done through our county. It is not National Weather Service. It is all done through the county. So an advisory is, there's a chance that you might run into some bad stuff. So just use extra caution when traveling. No travel restrictions. When you go on from that, you also have the watch, which is there are some threatening conditions that are definitely out there. You should only have essential travel, which is to and from work, if you have an emergency situation. Otherwise, stay home, stay bundled up, stay warm, and leave the roads clear for the emergency services. And then you have the warning, which the warning is that the roads are kind of impassable, or there are a lot of roads that are impassable. So the only people that should be on the road are emergency personnel. And of course, that's the big three, the law, fire, and EMS. But you also have the dispatchers, the hospital workers, anybody whose job is the people are dependent on them to keep them alive, to keep them healthy. The essentials. So only the essentials can be on the road.
During COVID.
My goodness, boy,
Yes, we were an essential. I was an essential back then. So.
I was considered essential.
I would say as it went on, so many people were trying to make themselves more essential.
I think it was nice to not be essential at the beginning, but then when it started taking longer and longer, everybody wanted to be essential.
We're all essential. Let's just keep going.
And then once that is decided that we are going to go into one of these, you can find that on, you can Google it. The easiest way to me is Google Indiana Travel Advisory. It'll come up with the county map. And it'll show you what level we are on. And before people call and say, we should be in a warning because I don't want to go to work, that doesn't happen very often. That is a extremely severe, and there's criteria that we have to meet to be able to be a warning. We can't just, there's three snowflakes and you want to have a warning so you don't go to work. That doesn't work that way. We have to have certain criteria that meets the warning status.
So explain. Okay, so right here where we're at, if we go into, let's say what I just said, the state of emergency. So we're in a state of emergency, okay? But Corey has to go to Clark County. Okay, will he be able to? So well, hang on. Let's say Corey's in Clarksville.
Okay.
And will he be able to travel? Okay, will he be able to travel home, or how does that work? So
are you saying we had just gone into a warning?
Yeah, let's say that, or vice versa. Just because our county is doesn't mean that Clark County is.
No, it does not.
Or Harrison,
it is all,
or Jack.
It is all done. So when you pull up this map, though, it'll have all the counties, and it'll show you what level that they are at. So you can see your line of travel. We may not be, because we're not getting the snow, and we're not getting the wind here in Washington County. However, if you're heading to Clark County and you're going out to dinner and you see they're under a warning, yeah, that's not going to go well, because you're not supposed to be on the road in Clark County, because they may be getting more severe weather than we are. That happens often. So yes, you have to plan ahead. You have to check and see what the forecast is going to be. If they're expecting feet of snow as opposed to a couple inches of snow, that all plays into the status of the travel.
Well, I think it gets confusing. Most generally, though, down here in the southern part of the state where we're at, most of our counties were all like-minded. Don't you feel? Most of us because a lot of times if we get snow, they'll get snow, or bad, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way.
That's correct.
And how crazy it is, I remember whenever the northern part of our county got crazy snow, and then the southern part
got nothing.
So it can even be that different in the county. Because I remember that there were some schools a school was canceled, and there were people that were down in the south. The south will rise again, not real happy in our county. And then the northern people were these roads are horrible. So that's kind of crazy.
And it has to be and the decision has to be made countywide. Same thing with the burn bans.
That's a good point.
People get argumentative about the burn bans because it rained in Pekin, so let's lift the burn ban. Well, it didn't rain in Sotelo, and it didn't rain in Little York, so it's still dry in a large part of the county. So the burn ban stays. And people just don't understand that, we have to look at the whole picture. It can't just be one community.
Right. And just like in school buses, yes, each school, these buses are running for them, and we know that. And just when you're talking about ice too, in the rural area, we have so many trees, and it's hard to get that sunshine in.
That's correct.
To melt some of that ice. And there's some really slick places, and some of that, is it called black ice that they call
black
it?
Ice.
Yeah.
That's usually at the intersections and definitely on the bridges. And we have a lot of little bridges.
Do we ever?
That they go through the county, and if you're trucking along not thinking there's any problem, and you hit one of those little bridges, that could be disastrous.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention to the weather before you leave the house and be prepared. And even though you think you can drive in these kind of conditions, there's a lot of people out there who think they can drive in it, but they can't. So you got to pretty much watch out for them, because they'll be zipping along and thinking that they don't have a care in the world. And when I was going to Clark County at one point, and I was coming down a road and I could see where there were trees, and I'm like, you're not going to be happy in a second. And he was going through the clear area, and he hit where the trees were covered, and off he went, because that was all black ice, because there was no sun hitting it to melt it. So, and that can happen anywhere.
So we're using words today. I feel like I'm on Substitute Street. Defensive driving.
Defensive driving. Yeah.
There it is. Well, I know. I'll give mine last year. So, I'm pretty good driver. I don't want to brag, because I don't. As soon as you say something, I don't want to. Yeah, really.
Knock on wood.
But I was trying to go up the hill, and my Jeep. I had no control. He decided, or she decided to roll back, and we ain't doing this hill. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I had no control. And it was a blessing that I finally got it to stop. But if there had been somebody behind me, or and I did get it to stop, but I sometimes things like that, the ice was just too much.
A lot of times ice, it's just out of your control.
It is, and
especially
and even
if you've
good
got
drivers, even if
you've got enough speed up, or you just hit it the right way.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get it under control again, if you can.
Yeah. And if you're going up a hill and you're trying to get that momentum, and then someone's coming down the hill and you can't, there's a lot of degree of difficulties here,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I even know for our big trucks, even our big, you know, ones that put out the sand and all
Right.
that, they do. Even they slide.
Right.
And when you've got them sliding, you know something's
Mhm.
up, you know,
Right.
because they're weighted down and
And you get a lot of people who get upset because they're on the road, and of course it slows everybody down because, you know, they're either spreading something to keep the roads from being icy, or they're plowing and people want to pass them. Don't pass.
no.
Do not pass a snowplow, because if you lose control by passing them, first of all, it's dangerous. The visibility is not good at the front of a snowplow because they're plowing. And if you lose control and hit that snowplow, that's one less on the road to keep us safe. So take your time, let them do their job. They do an excellent job.
They do. They really do.
They are out
Yeah.
for long periods of time when we get it. They do a lot of prep work here.
Yeah.
So our county
And-
highway is very good.
And sometimes, and I think this is good clarity. These are things that I kind of try to hit every year before we get into this, because a lot of times, you know, they'll be cleaning a certain roads, and you know, and others will say, well, they haven't gotten back to my road yet. Well, they do clean the roads with folks that need medical attention, and I don't think anybody could dispute how wonderful that is.
Mhm.
You know, if they need dialysis, if you live on a road and you have some patient that somebody lives on that has dialysis, that road will be cleaned. It's one of the top priorities, which should be. Or if there's another medical, you know. And
Yeah, if there's a medical emergency and they're out, they will, you know, try to get there before us to plow a way in for these things. And also some of the fire departments, they have their pickup trucks or their brush trucks or whatever that they put a plow on, and they will go out and clear the way for EMS.
Yeah,
Wow.
love that. I know.
I am learning like so much this morning. I feel
No,
like
it's
I've
cool.
really taken it
Well,
all in. I'm drinking from a fire hose over here.
I love that. I love that. Love that. Well, I think it's true, and it's just good reminders too that, you know, that they will get to your road, and they do a fantastic job. And a lot of times they've been up all night. And again, and we said this last week when we keep reminding everybody, this county is so big.
Yes.
It's a huge
It is.
county, you know.
Yes.
And just like Corey said, you know, when you try to go from point A to point B to, you know, if you go north to south, to east to west, I mean, you've got a large area to cover here.
Absolutely.
And they are doing it. They're out doing it. It's just let them, you know, give them time to get where they need to, you know, to
Right.
get to.
In general, we all need to practice more patience anyway.
Right.
Boy,
But this
it's
is a
true.
great reminder anyways, because we've come out of summer, fall, it's great, good. And I haven't heard terms like black ice or thought about black ice
Yeah.
or all these things. I'm like, oh, well, that season is
Defensive
upon
driving.
us.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's like I'm a pretty routine person, so
Yeah.
I know all the spots between Salem to my house where like the roads are shaded, where the black ice is.
Right.
But I haven't thought about it today. I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to like really focus and
Yeah,
Watch the
it's
weather,
true.
watch the
Watch the
temperatures,
weather.
and you know, because you might come across something, and
Right.
and again, person of habit, I always go the same way home and things like that. But what if you gotta go somewhere else?
Mhm.
You know, you just have to use extra caution, and plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Plan accordingly.
What are some good things to keep in your vehicle during winter weather?
Some of the things that you should keep in, definitely you should have a flashlight, you should have blankets, you should have water, and you should have non-perishable food. Those are the absolute essentials to keep in your vehicle. But some of the other things, kitty litter. Throw some kitty litter in the back in case
That
you get
makes sense
stuck.
to get
Throw
on
it
the
onto your
tires.
tires and you can get going. A shovel if you got room. I mean, I don't have room in my car for a shovel. A little one where I'd be down there but not a really big shovel because I carry all kinds of stuff. Make sure you have a scraper. I always, at the very first frost of the year, I always forget my scraper.
And where is it?
Yeah, you go in the garage going, I put it somewhere I would remember.
That's one thing. I give away free scrapers at Marshall Monuments.
Oh, do you?
I've got boxes of them.
I want
That's
one.
awesome. I want one too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yep. Stop
Please
by.
get those to us.
Yes.
Stop by. Everyone stop by. I over-ordered.
I love that. No, that's fantastic because we're all going to be needing one.
Yeah, it's a good
and-
time of year. Stop by and get your scrapers.
Because we threw them out in July. Oh, I don't need this. You know me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
not
Yes.
today.
Or
Yeah.
you put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere safe.
Yeah.
I have a lot of somewhere safes in my house.
Yeah, mine
I don't know where they are, but I have somewhere
somewhere.
safes.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. And good reminders too is to make sure you start before you leave. Make sure that is scraped really well.
Yes.
Yeah, to make sure that your visibility is really.
Don't you love when you see people driving down the road and there's this little circle
Just that's it.
on their windshield? It's
All you
like,
see is
you
their
are
eyes.
so
Right.
dangerous
Yeah.
right
What
now.
are things that somebody can do that doesn't have a garage or a carport or something? And I mean, you just give yourself that much more time. Like, is there anything you can? I think I've seen them at Walmart actually. Like those really cool things you can put over your windshield.
I have one because I
See,
do
that's
not park
nice.
in the garage.
Right. So
I
many
have
of us
one of those
don't.
things, and,
I don't.
it works wonderfully. I mean, you still might have to scrape a little bit, but if we get a lot of snow and things like that,
Right.
I just lift it right off. I'm ready to go. And that is something good to have. If you do have a garage, just remember, do not warm your car up in the garage. Don't back in, first of all, in the
Mhm.
winter.
Right.
Always pull nose first. And then when you're going to warm up your car, back it out a little bit so that exhaust is going outside, not in the garage because of carbon
Smart.
monoxide.
Oh, that's a good reminder.
Mhm.
So why are we not backing in?
Because if you back in and you go to warm your car up, that's where all the exhaust is.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
a lot of garages are attached to the house.
Yeah.
So it's going to be coming right in that door.
So if you open I don't have this, but for those that do, if you open your garage door,
Mhm.
then you can start your car.
Back up a little bit. Your vehicle is still depending on how big your vehicle is. I mean, if you got a big vehicle, your
Yeah.
exhaust is pretty much close.
This
But if you
thing
got a
is
little
on it.
one,
I know.
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
it can fill up that garage. Yeah.
We're back. I know.
We're playing tennis while we're doing this.
I'm calling dispatch right now. I need help.
But yeah, if you back your vehicle out a little bit so that exhaust goes to the outside.
Yeah.
Again, if you have a big vehicle, your exhaust is pretty close to the outside. If you have a small vehicle, your vehicle's pulled up far into the garage, that's going to build up in the garage.
Oh, I hope everyone's heard this. Please
Yeah.
remember that. I guess
that
that's
is very
something-
dangerous.
Didn't even, didn't catch that one.
I do hope for more snow this year. Because like you said, I feel like we used to get more snow, but we haven't had a good snow in a long time. The ice
The
has
forecast
been
that
very
I've seen
problematic.
for the snow season is our best chance for any significant snow is January. We might have snow in December, but it's going to be minimal.
So what the
Our
almanac
temperatures
says
are going to
it-
be kind of high in December, above normal. But they're saying in January we do have a chance of getting some snow. But as far as
Wow.
a
'Cause I love sledding.
blizzardy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're probably not going to get that this year, which is going to make storm season even crazier.
Because
for us.
we need that, right?
We need the
those-
cool to cool it down, so that but if we stay above temperature when we start getting into end of April, beginning of May, which is the big part of the storm season, is going to be pretty wicked.
Also, it would help get rid of some of these bugs, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I've seen these everywhere. It's because it's getting cold and they're coming
They're
inside.
coming in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
People don't know what we're talking about. We have a little fruit fly type thing in
Something
here,
is
and
just like,
and it keeps attacking
Yeah.
all of us while we're trying to
Well,
talk.
and,
so.
and for some reason, I don't know why my hairspray. Bugs love my hairspray. It's always like, I mean, I'm like, yeah. I don't think Corey has that problem.
So,
But-
nope, not at all. It's nice.
Yeah.
When do you think we could see Code Red come to our community?
I don't know. I have to see if county council is able to provide the money for it. If not, I'm going to have to go with the donations, try to get another grant, and see if we can get the money toward it. But I'm hoping we might be able to pull it off. I won't know until December 2nd.
Right.
So it could possibly be here for 2025?
Could possibly, yes.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah,
Mhm.
the sooner the better.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Well, I feel like this would be a community that would embrace that and really see the value in that.
Right.
So,
It's all a matter of finances. I mean, I'm sure. I know the commissioners. I presented it to the commissioners. They're all in favor of it, and I've talked to some of the council members. They're in favor of it. It's all financial.
Right,
Do we
sure.
have the money to put
Which
toward it?
and
makes
how
a
do you put a
difference,
price
yeah.
on safety?
Right.
Right. But they get, and I know we don't have a spokesman here for them,
Right.
but they do have a lot of,
They have a lot that they have to cover and do, and it's the end of the year.
Oh, man,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and they've already
there's-
kind of done their budget, so it's kind of like,
Right.
okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's just like a household running a household.
Right.
It's like
Yeah, if the money's not there, the money's not
Not
there, no
there,
matter
yeah.
how important
Yeah.
the purchase would be.
Right.
If you don't have
you
it,
can't buy the shoes.
yeah.
The money's not there.
Right.
Yeah, or a washing
That
machine.
never
If your
worked
washing
for me.
machine breaks, if you don't have the money,
Let's find it.
But coming up here.
I think we could challenge 10 businesses to come together and fund this. That would be great.
Well,
I'll be one.
I think it's.
That'd
I think
be
it's
great.
awesome.
I'd appreciate that.
So, Deni, going back on this, I do want to kind of go back because there was something else that I always like to say too on schools, because a lot of times schools, they either get kissed or kicked when school is called off.
Right.
We know we do have the e-learning days. I know we do have, this, which is a blessing that we have all that and everything. Great. But I want to kind of let everybody know how involved the schools, they don't just wake up and make the decision.
That's correct.
And I mean, they really do try to check with the sheriff's department.
They check with the National Weather Service. I talk to them. It's a lengthy decision. It's not just they look out their window and decide what to do. They call to see, because again, you could be living in one part of that community and the other part of the community is under a foot of snow, and you don't know it because you didn't get anything. You have to take into account the whole community for the school before they make their decision. And ice is another thing. There may not be any snow on the road, but those roads are icy, or the wind chill is very high for the kids that are going to be out at the bus stops. And that's how they make their decisions based on that.
And then I know our 3 county schools, there's always a driver that someone goes out and goes for themselves to see how, and goes through some of the harder, places to see how the roads are. So I just always like to let everyone know the measures, because whenever I announce it on the radio or put it up on social media, there's always so much backlash.
Right.
Whether there's always that, if you decide that we're not having school today because of the weather, or if we are having school today because of it just there's always a doggone if you do, doggone if you don't.
Right. And of course, we remember walking uphill both ways with 6 feet of snow to go to school. So as you get older, you kind of forget.
Yeah.
But with snow days now, I mean, they can plan ahead. They've got e-learning. They've got things are a little different than when I was a kid.
It's a huge blessing. Yeah. But we do know that you do try to have your school. I mean, you like the in-person days, and also making sure that because with the meals, making sure that each child has a meal, and I know it's good to keep them in the routine of that. Right. But sometimes
and often there are kids that breakfast and lunches. That's it. That's all they get for the day.
Yeah.
So you don't want to call off too many.
But we're very aware of that. Yeah, very aware of that. Yeah. So you do want to have school.
Right.
It's just a matter of, is it safe to all concerned?
Right.
And that's something I think that a lot of people have to realize, that it's not just one group area there. It's the whole area. So got him. Go Deni. Yeah. That's why you're the ambassador over there, right?
The weather ambassador.
That's why
weather ambassador and bug killer.
Ambassador now. Yeah. So was there anything that we missed on? I do want to say when you were talking about making sure you have snacks. If you've ate your snacks over the summer,
replenish now.
If that jerky was looking at you, it might be time to put some more jerky in the car. So,
Yeah, the blankets it's important to have blankets in case, you get stranded somewhere. And if you
charged up cell phone.
Absolutely. Have a phone charger. One of the things they recommend is also having a very bright colored cloth. So if you are caught, again, we don't get the storms here, but if you happen to get it, and we get a storm where, the snow is coming down, your vehicle is disabled, it's getting covered with snow, have a bright colored cloth that you can put on inside your door and hang over your vehicle so they can see. It reflects, things like that. I mean, it's just some of the stuff that I, looked at in National Weather Service and some of their suggestions. It's like, I would have never thought of that.
No,
but that makes perfect sense.
It sure does.
Also, when you clean your vehicle, please make sure you clean the back. Clean your brake lights.
That is dangerous.
That is very dangerous. Or your headlights. All of a sudden you need your headlights and you can't see because they're covered with snow. Make sure you do that. Make sure you clean the top of your vehicle, because that sliding off may not affect you, but it'll affect the person behind you and could blind them. I don't know if you've ever been next to a semi where that cuts loose. And it could blind you. You could lose track of where the road is, and the roads here in Washington County aren't very straight. So if you're coming up on a bend and you've got this sheet of stuff coming off of a semi, you just have to be careful. Keep your distance.
And if you are stranded, you're supposed to stay in your vehicle, right?
Stay in your vehicle unless you can see help within 100 yards. So it's a football field, and that doesn't mean just see a house, because there may not be anybody there. You can actually see that there's some help then you should leave your vehicle and go to the help. Other than that, remain in your vehicle. Run your vehicle 5 minutes every hour if you're still stranded, for that length of time. But again, if you have a cell phone, obviously call 911. We'll be glad to help you and find you.
Good reminders also to make sure your vehicle has plenty of gasoline.
Make sure you stay gassed up.
Yeah.
Make sure my husband was always after me. Make sure you don't go below a half a tank in the winter.
Because he loves you.
Because he loves me. And then make sure that you have antifreeze. Make sure you have, the windshield wiper fluid that does not freeze. Have your vehicle
Good reminder.
Have your vehicle checked before the season to make sure that you have everything, good brakes, good, heater. Everything is ready to go for the winter season.
Those are good food for thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you're putting children in car seats, remember no jackets. You're supposed to make sure that they stay right there.
Right, because they could slide out of the jacket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just good things.
Dress in layers so that you can take off a layer if you need to, add a layer if you need to.
And a battery-powered radio. That's what. Also, put that in your little kit.
Mm-hmm. Weather radio or a regular radio. There's some out there that are crank radios that are wonderful to have.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and then have a weather radio, of course.
Right. Well, it's just good food for thought and good reminders. And as we go into the weather, and this is a good week for that, and appreciate you coming on and giving us some good information. And I love this that there's any measure we can take for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that advancement that this has come to this. I mean, and the knowledge. A lot of times. Maybe advancement gets kind of a bad rap in some ways. It can be used wrong, but using this for a good tool and putting that much more tools in the tool belt for people is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and I think that you're making huge strides, Deni, and I appreciate all you do, and the whole team, like you said, the whole team.
The whole team. Right.
Yeah, and everybody, and all that they do. Corey, it's been very informative this morning. We learned a lot, didn't we?
This is great. Well, I've got my checklist. I'm ready to check all my boxes.
I actually saw him taking notes.
I'm
I
a
saw
note
that.
taker. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I noticed that. I appreciate that. Yeah. And, of course, at Marshall Monuments right here on Water Street, stop in and see Corey.
Where we always offer first responders, EMS, law, and fire up to a 50% discount on in-stock monuments.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
I know. They're fantastic.
And, of course, our veterans.
Oh.
Always for our
How
veterans.
wonderful our
Absolutely.
veterans.
That's
Our community
wonderful.
loves veterans, which we
And
should.
you get a scraper.
And you get a scraper.
I'm coming here to scraper.
You can stop by for a free scraper and a chat anytime.
That's exactly right. The scrapers are a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine. I hope you get flooded today, everybody. I'm coming in for the scraper.
Super cool. I would love that.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming in, hanging out with me this morning, and being my co-host, Corey Churchman with Marshall Monuments. And Deni, keep up the great work there. Let us know if there's anything new. And the day that we get the code red, let's celebrate, okay? Let's come back.
Absolutely.
Let's bring this back together,
Absolutely.
this party,
Cool.
okay?
I'll get the word out to everybody on how to sign up and what they need to do to make sure they're informed on everything they want to be informed on.
Yeah.
Great things are happening for our community.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Let's thank our sponsors, Corey.
Thank you, sponsors: Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's, Fox Burley, Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Mindy Gunn, Dr. Mindy Gunn, McAllister's Land Consulting, and yours truly, Marshall Monuments.
Awesome. All right, let's have the best Thursday ever, everyone. Thank you.
Got land? Want cash? Vital Farms is here to help. Become an egg farmer and we'll set you up with our best-in-class support team, teach you egg farming our way, and compensate you fairly for the eggs you produce. Call 844-494-VITAL today to learn how you can transform tree-filled or underutilized land into cash flow for your family. Again, our number is 844-494-VITAL, or apply online at vitalfarms.com/farmers.
The Shakaroni is back. Get the extra cheesy, extra pepperoni pizza with extra large slices only from Papa John's. A pizza so big, you're going to have to share it. We're talking 8 boldy, foldy, shacky, stacky slices. It all starts with Papa John's fresh, never frozen original dough, hand stretched into an extra large pizza. Then it's topped with extra cheese and extra pepperoni for that ooey gooey peppy pleasy taste. Order one today online or with your Papa John's app, or call the Salem location at 812-883-3369. Each Chacaroni pizza is $12.99. Remember, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Better get you some Papa John's today by calling Reese at the Salem store at 812-883-3369.
When you want to honor your loved one, you choose someone you can trust. Marshall Monuments, Southern Indiana's monument experts. In their 78 years of community service, Marshall Monuments has provided excellence and experience and continues to take pride in workmanship and guarantees satisfaction in the final product. Whether you're looking for a custom monument, stones, or mausoleums or military markers, Marshall Monuments not only services all of Kentuckiana, but can come to you when you can't make the trip to the local office. Corey Churchman and the staff.
From the Big Boy Studio in Sweet Home, Alabama, to the world, The Rick and Bubba Show.
Thanks for being with us. 6 minutes past. As we roll into another hour, we hope you'll join us. Another opportunity for you, maybe before the hour's over. Skip Holtz is with us, head coach of the Birmingham Stallions. He'll be with Speedy tonight in Birmingham for a big gathering to start the ticket sales for another season coming up. The Stallions coming off another championship, so that'll be coming up later in the hour. Everybody's here, Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, and Adler, and welcome back, Bill Bubba Bussett.
Rick, glad to be here. Thank all of you for joining us. It is the little party we call Rick and Bubba.
Well, we're going to start the hour. I'm telling you this, talking to people that you and I have worked with, you know, in this world of streaming and podcast and Jimmy Jam, and this was said to me as clear as I've ever heard it said. And he said, let me give advice to you and to Bubba. If you ever desire to have a successful podcast, stay in the paranormal. Do UFOs and do all of that. You will have gillions of people. And he said, literally, it's one of these groups that sell advertising now and are trying to figure out the digital world. He said, I can sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of advertising if y'all can keep up with constant paranormal UFO. And I just said, you know what? I mean, how many more times? I understand what he's saying. You remember, even on Rick and Bubba University, they would just say, "Give us more."
Oh, I know. I know.
He goes, "Have you looked at y'all's podcast when y'all do UFOs and stuff?"
Oh, I know.
And he said, "You have millions." He goes, "And I don't." So we are all obsessed with this, I guess. A lot of you are. So here we go. We have the UFO hearing. You remember that, right?
Well, we've had another one.
Yeah.
And it's been going on, and I thought the time was a little suspicious, but it's going on now that the election is over, and all this is going on about who's going to be the leader of the Senate, who's going to be this, who's going to be that, and it's really not in the headlines. But they're actually having hearings in Congress
again.
Don't you think the timing's a little strange?
Well, I didn't think they gave us a whole. Why didn't we get more? They said everybody was telling us, "Oh, this is wow," but then they never said much. And so here is.
But just think the fact that this year we saw them actually have a hearing on it,
right?
Which has never happened before. Never even talked about it. Never acknowledged it existed, and now you have all these people coming forward. Testifying under oath that all this stuff is going on.
Michael Schellenberger, he's the journalist behind exposing the Twitter files, right?
Yep.
So his expose talking about UFOs, and he got on a watch list just for doing this. Was that right?
he talks about if you even mention the name of this program, you can be put on a watch list.
Okay, all right.
And he kind of sets the stage for this entire thing. On either side, he's got Defense Department researchers on either side of him during this entire thing, and here's Schellenberger kind of setting the stage.
All right.
We have a right to know what UAPs are, no matter what they are. However, we now have existing and former U.S. government officials who have told Congress that AARO and the Pentagon have broken the law by not revealing a significant body of information about UAPs, including military intelligence databases that have evidence of their existence as physical craft. One of those individuals is a current or former U.S. government official acting as a UAP whistleblower. This person has written a report. This is the report that says the executive branch has been managing UAP NHI issues without congressional knowledge, oversight, or authorization for some time, quite possibly decades. Furthermore, these individuals have revealed the name of an active and highly secretive DoD unacknowledged special access program, or USAP. The source of that document told me, that the USAP is a strategic intelligence program that is part of the U.S. military family of long-standing, highly sensitive programs dealing with various aspects of the UAP problem. The new UAP whistleblower claims that the U.S. military and IC database includes videos and images taken using infrared, forward-looking infrared, full-motion video, and still photography.
What?
The report that was just shared with Congress says Immaculate Constellation serves as a central or parent USAP that consolidates observations of UAPs by both tasked and untasked collection platforms. Immaculate Constellation includes high-quality imagery intelligence and measurement and signature intelligence of UAPs, the whistleblower's report adds. The sources of this intelligence are a blend of directed and incidental collection capabilities, positioned in low Earth orbit, the upper atmosphere, as well as military and civilian aviation altitudes and maritime environments.
I stopped listening.
I've been
Listen,
out.
okay, I'll give you the nutshell here.
Thank you. I wish we'd have just done the nutshell.
It was clear as day.
He is saying.
Please don't read to me. When
He
people
is
read to
saying
me,
that the U.S. government, or people in our government, have absolute proof of UFOs and flying saucers. That's what he said.
Videos, pictures, thermo.
That's what he said?
Could we have just put like one little phrase from him?
Now,
That's what he said.
Now, the next guy you're going to hear from was
we
actually.
gotta hear from
another guy?
one. I know this one's much better. It's 22
Everybody
seconds.
chill out,
It's
please.
22 seconds.
Too much coffee, guys.
Okay.
Bubba, we like it when you tell us.
Yeah, just tell
He
us.
is going to. This is a much shorter bite. You'll be okay.
It's a different person.
He was in charge of the government's UAP secret program that Travis Taylor was on.
Yeah.
And he's also been a guest on Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, here we go.
Well, now I get it. He's legit now.
I should have just started with me.
Same
All right,
day.
all right,
That
here we
was
go. That's
okay.
something